I want to thank the African Studies Association for establishing the ASA Samora Graça Machel Presidential Fellowship Fund. I'm particularly grateful to Barbara and Allen Isaacman for endowing the fund and to the many members of the association who have already contributed. Barbara and Allen have been longtime supporters and friends of the Mozambican people, which dates back to our struggle for freedom. Their recent biography of Samora has helped keep his memory alive, not only in the West, but more importantly, among my country's young people. Other members of the African Studies Association also aided us in our struggle for freedom and to create a just society. William Minter taught at the Frelimu School in Bagamoyo. Prexy Nesbitt, whose son is named after Samora, stood side by side with us for 2 decades. Kathleen Sheldon came to Mozambique after independence to help us build a new society. Your president-elect, Elizabeth Smith, played a significant role in the anti-apartheid movement. The ASA Samora Graça Machel Presidential Fellowships, which brings young African scholars to the association's annual meeting and to work with colleagues at African Studies Centers, closely aligns with our belief that education was critical to the Mozambican Revolution. With only a handful of lawyers, economists, and geologists at the time of independence, Samora and I recognized the imperative of sending gifted students abroad if we were ever to overcome poverty, underdevelopment, and the cultural arrogance of colonialism. Upon receiving an honorary Doctor on Law degree from Nigeria's Ahmadu Bello University in 1977, Samora addressed the audience, emphasizing that, I quote, "the ultimate effort of colonialism was to make each Mozambican an assimilado, a little Portuguese with a black skin," unquote, and defined colonialism as a cultural act of rape. In echoing Frantz Fanon's contention that colonizing the mind was the most insidious legacy of colonialism, Samora underscores the importance of social, psychological, and intellectual transformation for post-colonial Mozambicans. The democratization of knowledge, he believed, would liberate Mozambicans from the constraints of illiteracy, the tyranny of superstition, and the concept of missionary education. For Samora, learning was a social act reinforced by daily household, community, and workplace practices. Let me quote, "All of us have responsibilities. We educate our children. We educate our youth in various ways. The behavior of parents and the way they live at home is more significant than the 5 hours a day that students are in contact with their teachers," unquote. Samora's commitment to learning is most notable in his support to efforts to liberate girls and women through education, even as he rhetorically emphasized the new man. In public meetings across the country, he joined representatives of Mozambican women's organization to chastise parents who kept daughters at home to work the family's fields and prepare for marriage, keeping them ignorant and dependent, and depriving the nation of well-trained labor force. As Minister of Education, I recognized the curriculum and as Minister of Education, I reorganized the curriculum and expanded access to education. In 1973, there were 588,868 attending schools. 5 years later, it had increased by more than 100%, and education was free, a right of citizenship. The new curriculum contained no discussion of Portuguese geography, Henry's the Navigator's heroic exploits, or the Catholic Church's civilizing mission. Instead, it emphasized Mozambique's rich heritage, its long tradition of resistance, and the intrinsic relationship between education and the success of Frelimo National Project. I also stressed the strategic importance of adult literacy, arguing that more than 90% of Mozambicans could neither read or write, depriving them and the nation of their creative potential. Colonial values and irrational and unscientific ideas from the past had frozen Mozambicans in a permanent state of backwardness. Universal education and widespread literacy campaigns were essential features of Frelimo's cultural politics. Given our commitment to education, I'm honored that you named the ASA Presidential Fellowship Fund to help train the next generation of African humanists and social scientists after the two of us. As we say in Mozambique, Kani Mambo. Thank you so much.